Hey, this is a video for the FiiO FA9. It's a 6-balance armature set. It has 2 in the low, 2 in the mids, 2 in the high. I believe by looking at this, this is a dually. There's 2, there's 4, there's 6. The 31, 618, 2 woofers that produce dynamic and authoritative bass. One of the special things is it's got switches, and one switches the impedance, I believe, from 16 to 32 ohms impedance. And this is how it comes out the box. Standard, strong bass, pop, crisp highs. The differences between these are very, very subtle. The bass is not on the level of something like the S8 or the A8 by Moondrop, which has for a balanced armature, it's got quite good bass. The mids on this, so the bass is not very impactful in any of its settings. The mids are slightly forward, and the treble is kind of to taste. The crisp highs they don't sound crisp. Pop, I'm not really sure. There's not a lot of difference. This is how it comes out of the box. This is the 1632, and this is the other 3 settings. And the purple is the strong bass setting. It's about almost 2 dB at 63. No change. And then it falls below from 2 to 4 dB in the treble. So basically they're kind of tilting the profile left, up, right, down. Pretty much. It's very subtle, and it's notable that the bass is at no point very much impact. This is not a bass. The whole profile is pretty much up on this one. But that's how it comes out of the box. Mids are forward. It's clear in vocals, and none of these settings do mids sound veiled, scooped, or lacking in any kind of a way. They always seem to be a slight bit forward and treble depending on the track. Start with the bass. That's my brief intro of the sound profile. It's $600. Do I wreck the set? No. I'll explain why, though. This is a track from Led Zeppelin, the 4th album. Some people call it Symbols. The track is called When the Levee Breaks. The song was first written and performed by an African-American couple named Kansas Joe and Memphis Minnie in 1929, and was about the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927. So Led Zeppelin did a cover of a song that was based on it. A levee literally broke. The reason that this is something I'm telling you is because the intro to When the Levee Breaks is iconic. Boom, tsh, boom, 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 tsh. It's very powerful. In its audio file, natural, regular, as mastered playback, it should be very, very potent. On this set, it is not. So if we're going audiophile, this seems unnaturally soft and low. Little explanation. On hearing this, hearing this equal, they're at a place called Headley Grange. It's a house, a big house, and they're going to record in it, and they've got a new set for Bonzo, John Bonham, pretty much, kind of tucked away in a corner under stairs. He starts playing a brand new kit, and people on the 2nd floor started to notice the acoustics of the room were capturing something special, and they did a lot of effects and stuff after that. But they on hearing this, that engineer Andy Johns realized that they had something special here. This was a place to record Bonham. 2 bare dynamic M160 microphones were hung down the stairwell from the 2nd floor, fed out into the mobile's Helios desk, and heavily compressed with an Audio and Design F600 compressor. Echo was then added from Jimmy Page's Binson Echo unit. You can read more about this if you'd like, if you're into this kind of stuff, which I am. And Jimmy Page elaborates into kind of all the stuff that they did, that swirling effect around Robert Plant kind of at the end, as it comes to a kind of a crescendo. For When the Levee Breaks is an outstanding track. It's really good. And again, audiophile, natural, how it was recorded, it was supposed to be a very potent and powerful intro. And on this set, it's not really that. And on a lot of sets, that's the case. On this set is the one that we're reviewing right now. And it's lacking in that department. That's your knowledge bomb. Getting to... I'm going to go to a track. That's nice. Called America. Black Sabbath Sweet Leaf, 2 minute 30 second and beyond, listening to drum play and bass. Blind Faith, Can't Find My Way Home, a significant cymbal strike by Ginger Baker at 27 seconds. Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun from a minute 16 forward, listening to bass. America, Tin Man, 39-second triangle strike. Pink Floyd on the Run, 26 to 58. The gate announcement, it's kind of a clarity check, and then also left-right panning cues are amazing on that. Gives you kind of a sense of depth, width, height, all that psychoacoustic goody stuff. This is an album called History, America's Greatest Hits. And on this is a track called Tin Man. And when you listen to this, jun, 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 his voice is a good indicator of the quality of the mids. He should be center. He's the focal point of it. On this set, on all of the settings, he was very notably forward. And to confirm that, I listened to what you guys are familiar with, which is No More, No More by Aerosmith. The oddity and unique thing about this is while the vocals are quite forward, the cymbal strike at 39 seconds is very hard to catch. So those dips in the treble are in such a spot, including AK, where that likely partially exists. And it sounds de-emphasized. Is that a big deal? No, it's kind of unique though. Usually when his vocals are forward, that triangle strike is always pronounced. In this case, he's forward, but that's not. So that was kind of interesting. To kind of confirm this, this is my go-to for three things. This is Steven Tyler's vocals, the piano, because it covers the frequency completely, the audible range, all the way from 20 to 16 kilohertz. The cymbal strike is something I'm very familiar with. The Ginger Baker one would be more, but I listen to this a lot, and I think it comes in at 9 and 13 seconds. The cymbal strike sounded okay on this, but they didn't sound as good on Can't Find My Way Home by Ginger Baker or by Blind Faith. That it's Steven Tyler was notably forward. So when I listened to Tin Man, thought, oh, he's kind of up. Go listen to the real check, which would be No More, No More. You can listen to this music, by the way, if you want to check what I'm talking about. He usually sounds just a slight bit back. That's kind of regular. The most notable thing of the three that I'm listening for is the quality of the cymbal strike. But listening to this after America, I realized, yeah, the vocals are quite forward. So that's something to be aware of. Bass is not very dominant on when the levee breaks, and the vocals are quite forward on, quite forward, notably forward. I guess that would be a better way to put it. Black Sabbath Sweet Leaf was, Big Boy by Kill Jill. Kill Jill by Big Boy. This is a triple hit. 33 second, 39 second, 43 second. I always check this. Amazingly enough, this actually doesn't really do the middle hit, which would be sub bass. Forget about the graph. It doesn't really. There's energy, but there's not really a hit. And I'm just listening to dynamic driver sets, so this actually doesn't actually have that middle hit on this track. So this is not a set for bass heads. Forget that it's got a bass boost switch or bass profile. It's not really that potent as much as the S8 or the A8 by Moondrop, which are not even, they don't even have switches. Pink Floyd on the Run. The stage seems quite, I hate to get into virtual, but psychoacoustics is real. I don't feel like there's a big sense of space. Having come from the EJ07s and the JQ Hua Jiang, which got a very weird, by ESTs, or I'm not really sure how to pin it down. The cues on this track, on the Run, and also on Lynyrd Skynyrd. C, D, E, F, G, I, J, K. Now I know my ABCs. Led Zeppelin. This is an album called One More From the Road by Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is very good for kind of virtual depth. And remember, these are, all of these things that I show you guys are earplugs with speakers in them. Any sense that you have that you are in the middle of something on the left and right is psychoacoustics done via elevations in a certain point. Though this has elevations in the treble, they don't seem to be lending themselves towards any sense of space in the way that the sets I was just listening to yesterday do. And this is Freebird. And when this opens, there's a guy on the left side saying Freebird, Freebird, or two guys. And then there's some clapping on the right side, and Ronnie Van Zant is right in the middle. So you've got something on the left, something on the right, and then he's taking both channels when he speaks. You get this virtual sense of space. On this set, not really. There's not really that much space. I'm using music to be quite specific. So on Led Zeppelin, on this album right here, that's kind of neat, there is a lack of authenticity to the low-end presentation on when the levee breaks. Let's just be audiophile about this and say that's how it normally comes out every time you've ever heard it. Maybe in your life, that's how everybody that reviewed the album when it came out said that this was just a nasty, ridiculous, powerful take on blues. It's one of the most bluesy things since I've been loving you, and this is probably the most bluesy. Led Zeppelin was kind of very much influenced by blues, American blues, and it really comes through in Since I've Been Loving You, and it really comes through on When the Levee Breaks. When the Levee Breaks, maybe more. This doesn't play that in the way it was originally mastered. So it's not just that it's polite, it's unnaturally light. The mids are forward. Robert Plant actually sounds good on this same track When the Levee Breaks. So the emphasis of pulling Robert Plant up is actually not, that's to taste as well. You like your vocalist up. I noted that they were up and also that the triangle was gone pretty much, and that was a slight oddity. So would I wreck this set? No. I was supported in a way when my channel was very, very young, like 1,000 subscribers, by FiiO, who never really said anything to me. They've always been very good to me. I think that the M11 Pro DAP kind of got stuck between the M11 and the M15, and I thought with the THX, the amp, I thought it was so black and so beautiful, and they need to get some tuners at FiiO is what they need to do. They really need to get some people that got a track record with very successful sets and pull them into the company, because they're I assume they got a ton of money, and put them to work. Develop a house sound and pull in people that have this certain preference, because this would not be appealing to bass lovers. That's clear. Vocals are forward pretty much all the time. That seems to be maybe FiiO's thing. The treble changes depending on the generation of the set, like last year's or 2 years ago. I think they need to get a tuner in there. That's my opinion. I compared this with the M9 by Sony and came to two conclusions. Well, this is the stock configuration, how it comes out of the box, and this is the Sony M9. They're matched at 1K. They both have completely different deliveries of the treble. Maybe via this elevation, the M9 is giving more of a sense of space. I like the M9 a lot, but it's not anywhere near the level of the IER Z1R. And I think the EX800 ST is at least as good, if not better, with its 16mm dynamic driver ST studio tuning. This is not on the level of the M9 at all. And the M9 is not on the level of the JQ Audio or the EJ07, because these are literally yesterday and today, and listening to both of them just being like jarred by the difference. Again, audiophile. Authenticity. Faithful to the original. This is not playing stuff in the way that I think it was originally mastered. The M9 seems to do that better, but that is not a set that, if you were in this price range, I think there would be other things that I might recommend to you. So, FiiO, I hope they get a tuner. Or they're just going to not contact me anymore, because I want to love one of their sets like I did the FH1. Do you guys remember that? That little plastic peanut that fit in your ear, and I love that. I fucking love that. Give me something that's got some bass, or that when you say that it's got a bass option, that is where I can play When the Levee Breaks and feel like this is how I remember it. This is how it was mastered. I like this. And then you give them the other dip settings for the people that don't like that bass. But in this set, the bass isn't giving me, there is no bass profile in this set despite how it's titled. So I'll go ahead and let you guys go. There are biases, and I'm a human being, I'm not a robot. These guys were good to me when nobody was being good to me. Does that make a difference to a reviewer? You damn right it does. Really. Everybody else said get on a tour, and FiiO was like, we'll go ahead and send you this, and I I used a Note 4 with the Note 4 mic, and they're just so ghetto. And they were cool with it. They never gave me any stuff. I want to see them do well. They're good people, and they got their fingers in all the pies. Maybe they pull some of the fingers out of a few of the pies and focus and really, really put out a killer. Like a really, really... Get a famous tuner, not these people that are calling themselves tuners. Get somebody that's put out some winners. The guy that did the Belon 03 and the Tanstrom Oxygen. What's that guy's name? Get him, pay him some money, tell him to make a winner. Something that's musical and organic and rich and's got really good mids like they seem to pretty much kind of do. Tone it down just a little bit and put that bass in an audiophile manner. When it's supposed to be powerful, make it powerful. When it's not supposed to be, it's not there. Get some pros in there, man. With all due respect, I think the FH1 is still the best earphone that FiiO's ever released. Yes. I just said that. And I'm going to be out. You guys take care. This is the FiiO FA9. A9? Yes. And I'm going to skip it on the rec and go ahead and give my opinion that when it says strong bass, make it strong bass. If I had gotten that, this would be a different review. I would just be saying, I'm not a fan of the others, but you put that strong bass on and boom, tsh, boom, boom, boom. One last musical note. Because I was listening to Led Zeppelin, I also went to the go-to bass intro, which is not there. It's not there. John Bonham is not being represented properly, and John Paul Jones is not. And that is your music review of a set of earphones by a person that's trying to make it. Item intro, sound summary, brief, I did that. Elaboration with songs, I did that. Compares kind of with the M9, and closing turned into just this long ramble about FiiO and tuning. I almost made it. Next time. And I'm out.